you see a hospital? We don't. We see a place for well-thought-out decisions. Do you see a sterile processing department? We don't. We see the pre-planning of an investment that will safeguard efficient production of sterile goods for the next 15 to 20 years. Do you see a sterilizer? We don't. We see a link in the chain of sterile production. Getinge is the specialist in understanding the needs and conditions for sterile processing. Our commitment is to achieve the most effective process for sterile production. In close cooperation with healthcare providers, Getinge develops true future-proof solutions. Let's listen to the views of some users of Getinge equipment.
At the beginning of the planning process, Getinge were able to make recommendations to help us improve the design that we had initially, to avoid areas where we'd have pinch points, where we might possibly get backlogs that would impinge on the efficiency of the department.
We work faster now and more effective. And it helps us a lot to work efficiently.
Getinge doesn't just replace machines. Getinge looks for the specific requirements, such as volumes, turnaround time, who the biggest users are, how the volume varies over time, what the main types of goods are, to mention a few. And why is that? Because all healthcare providers are unique in terms of their needs.
We choose Getinge because they could deliver a lot of equipment that we need in a so-called turnkey project. And that's a big advantage when you sit in a rebuilding project as big as this one.
We chose Getinge as a partner because it is, we think, the best company in the world in its field. They provide excellent autoclaves and washer disinfectors. We wanted an all-round complete package that was totally compatible.
To have total control over surgical instruments is critical for a sterile processing department. To be able to document the work while improving efficiency is even more important in a competitive environment. That's why many use traceability systems, like TDoc.
We choose TDoc. It was the best available system in the market, and it compares to a lot of specification that we write up.
It integrated well with the machinery that was being provided and enabled us to have a seamless approach to the traceability through this department, and auditing of the process is now becoming much more important in this day and age, and therefore this seamlessness was very important.
We will have the ability to provide far better checklists and the ability to also add photographs so that the packers and checkers on the packing tables will scan the set, and on their screen in front of them they will have a complete list of all the contents, the history of that set, and also photographs to make it easier for some of the younger staff who haven't been with us a long time to pack the set correctly.
Well, TDoc gives us the opportunity to know what we produce, even for which customer we produce, how much, and we now know exactly what the costs are of each product.
A sterile supply department needs reliable support and service. Providing the very best service is crucial for a solution provider.
In our line of work, we're doing inactivation of prions in a security laboratory. And if we're closed down for several days and that becomes weeks, we can't maintain our work. So we have to rely on a strong service operation, and Getinge could provide that. And that's why we choose this particular machine.
To run a successful sterile processing department, one needs skilled and well-trained staff to run the systems and the machines. The Getinge Academy provides certified training in quality assurance, educating operators in proper use of the equipment.
Education is vital to the sterile services field. The instrumentation that we use, the equipment we use is all becoming much more complicated, and therefore there is a need for an ongoing education for both senior staff and the staff that are actually working on the floor. And this will become increasingly important over the coming years.
The training with Getinge is excellent. We have had 2 or 3 day trainers on site now for about 2 weeks, and we've found them very helpful.
The difference between life and death is often about effective cleaning, disinfection, and sterilization. Container-based medical equipment from Getinge is used all over the world in areas of war and disaster, where fast rescue operations are essential for saving lives and reducing human suffering.
The CSSD, as an integrated part of the modern field hospital system, has been in 2 periods in Afghanistan. The conditions the CSSD has been working in has been very harsh and very tough. We're talking about very dense pollution, dust-wise. We are talking about water quality beyond belief. And obviously a tremendous change in climate, temperature, daylight, night, and so on. And even in these harsh conditions, the CSSD has been working excellent. No problems of any significance whatsoever. Without ICSSD, we will not be able to provide medical treatment in accordance to civilian law and regulations. And we are obliged by as well national regulations as well as NATO regulations to give the best standards of the medical treatment as possible for soldiers as well as civilians.
In the end, everything is about preventing the spread of infections and diseases. Knowing how to plan, design, install, run, maintain, and develop a sterile processing department requires thorough knowledge and experience. To see things most people don't, and to see how things will work, is the role of Getinge's employees, regardless of where in the world they are. And one thing is for sure, the dedicated people from Getinge will be with you every step of the way.